Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be part 2 of my citrus freshies for summer. In this video, I'm gonna go over my orange, when you think of clementine, mandarin, anything that falls under like the orange category, and grapefruit fragrances in this video, as well as I will go over 3 fragrances that I find to be a little bit more expensive. They are niche fragrances, they are on the pricier side, but I do tend to find myself reaching for citrus fragrances more on a day-to-day basis. And the last 3 I'm gonna go over when I wanna dress up and smell fresh and clean and citrusy. These are the 3 that I would consider wearing. And then if you haven't caught my first video, that one I go over 10 lemon forward fragrances. So I will have that video linked below. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, to kick off the fragrances, I did miss this fragrance, and I was actually gonna put the original Soleil by Lalique because of the beautiful mandarin that's in there, but I find this one to be more citrus forward and Soleil by Lalique to be more of a fruity fragrance with a gourmand touch. It is a fruity gourmand without being overly gourmand. So instead I'm gonna talk about Solay Vibrant. Now this fragrance has changed. I've had this fragrance over a year now. I do have a comparison of this one with Soleil by Lalique. I will link that video below. This was very light, airy, and citrus vanilla, but now that it's been sitting in my collection, the vanilla has definitely gotten stronger, as most vanillas do, but it's still got that nice citrus kick. This one has clementine and orange blossom, and I feel like that's what's giving it the clean citrus. Now for me, the vanilla is starting to pull a little bit more. When I first got this, this was a nice airy balance between citrus and vanilla. It's still a really beautiful scent, but it's one that I reserve for fall and winter because it is getting stronger. But it is a nice change of vanilla because I'm not someone who is super in love with vanilla forward fragrances. This has that citrus that I like, but the vanilla is strong. Less is more with this one. I tend to spray this one light or it will give me a headache, but this is a nice citrusy vanilla, which I don't have anything like this in my collection. So again, that's Solay Vibrant by Lalique. All right, now getting into my juicy orange fragrances. We're gonna start off with Atier Cologne's Clementine California, and this is the limited edition bottle. This used to be my juicy clementine, I believe there's mandarin orange fragrance, until I got the next 2 I'm going to talk about that are even juicier in my opinion. This one though, that opening, I do prefer the opening of this one to the dry down. This one does get a little too unisex in the dry down. This one gets a little spicy, but the opening I get that juicy clementine and the orange. And then as it dries down, this does get a little bit more woody, a little bit more spicy. It's slightly smoky. This one has several kind of spicy notes. I believe this one is marketed as a unisex, and it does get a little more fresh spicy in the dry down. I do love the opening of this one. Again, that's Atier Cologne's Clementine California. And then next we have Dua's Gone Swimming in Caribbean Waters. I got this one this summer and it's quickly become a favorite of mine. Now I did talk about this scent in my coconut perfume video, which I have linked below. This is a hybrid of 2 inspirations, Creed Virgin Island Water and Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim. And even though this one has a note of coconut, the star in this one is that kind of juicy orange that's in here. There's also lime, which is giving it this kind of cooling effect like Acqua di Gioia does. But I get that juicy, mouth-watering orange that's in here. There's rum, there's sugar. This is a gorgeous summer scent. So hopefully they'll restock it soon. If you enjoy summer freshies and citruses and you want something with a slight kind of coconut feel, the coconut in here isn't too strong, but it is there. I would say check out Gone Swimming in Caribbean Waters. What I get the most is the juicy orange that I get in Afternoon Swim that my friend has. That orange in here, beautiful. All right, now we're gonna talk about probably my favorite orange. My favorite orange forward fragrance, and that is Pacific Coast by Alexandria, and this is an inspiration to Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill, a fragrance that might end up in my collection maybe for my birthday. I might get it for myself. Oh my goodness. This, like Caribbean Waters, has a juicy orange, but with the apricot that's in here, this is another gorgeous fresh fragrance for summer. It's juicy, it's mouth-watering. It's just the apricot in here, the kind of fruitiness that's in here. That mandarin orange, this also has lemon and other citruses, but that kind of orange with the apricot combination, it just makes this one smell citrus and juicy, like a fresh squeezed orange juice. This one to me is very orange. So again, that is Pacific Coast by Alexandria, and this is inspired by Pacific Chill. Okay, next we're gonna get into my grapefruit fragrances. First up, we have Chanel Chance Eau Vive. And this one does smell a lot like Eau Tendre in my opinion, but with a grapefruit citrus kick. A little bit more zesty, and like the name would imply, it's a little bit more lively. I do get the florals in the Chance line, and they are smelling a little bit more on the dated side to me. They smell a little more old school. So I don't wear them as much, but I still think they're nice light scents, especially if you work in an office and you want to spray something light. I do find this line to be light, but I do think they have pretty decent longevity. But this one, I would say, again, it has that kind of grapefruit. Now, the grapefruit in here is very soft compared to the next two I'm going to talk about. So again, that's Chanel Chance Eau Vive. My two very grapefruit forward fragrances, we have Hesperides Grapefruit, sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, by Fresh. And then we have Guerlain Pampleune from the Aqua Allegoria line. Both very grapefruit heavy. Now, the grapefruit in Hesperides this is like a fresh grapefruit, but the white grapefruit, the very tart, very sour grapefruit. That's this one. Very refreshing though, very realistic, and surprisingly, even though it smells like a grapefruit, I don't get a sticky feeling like some realistic scents do. I get a very realistic grapefruit, but it's very fresh and clean. This one's really pretty. I tend to layer with this one, especially with the last grapefruit scent I'm going to talk about. But this one's nice, but this is very realistic. So if you don't want to smell like a straight up grapefruit, I would say steer clear from that one. Now, if you want to smell like a grapefruit, but a little bit more clean, and yeah, I would say try out Pampalon. This is another very grapefruit, like kind of forward fragrance, but this one, like some of these other ones, there's something in here that's giving me a slight cooling mint vibe. Like just think of when you bite into mint or when you brush your teeth with something very minty. This has something in there, even though there's no mint listed. And it's a little bit more fresh. And even though the grapefruit in here is realistic as well, it's not as tart. I tend to wear these when I'm gonna go for a walk and I want something energizing and mood boosting, because I find these to be very bright and uplifting. I do tend to layer this with the next grapefruit scent I'm gonna talk about, which is gonna lead me into my more elevated citrus fragrance, because this is more of an elevated scent. This is Orchestra, inspired by Louis Vuitton's Symphony. And I know I've been talking about it recently, but that's because these are new to my collection. I do have a friend that her signature scent is Louis Vuitton's Symphony. And because of that, I feel like an imposter whenever I wear this scent. So I do tend to layer it with either one of these, and then I get that kind of sophisticated scent of Orchestra slash, because this is a pretty decent dupe. This smells a lot like the real thing, but I don't know, it's her scent. There's just some fragrances that, because it's that person's signature and I've only ever smelled it on that person, when I spray it, I'm reminded of that person. Not that it's a bad thing, but again, I feel like an imposter. So I do layer it, and when I wore this combination on a walk, my mom gave me a compliment, and when I wore this combination, Dennis said I smelled good. So this right here is a good combination, and since this is just so grapefruit forward, it really did switch this up a little bit. Now this one, the grapefruit in here is very blended, but what makes it citrusy is that grapefruit and bergamot combo in the opening. So again, that is Alexandria's Orchestra. Then next we have the fragrances that to me are citrus, but a little bit more elevated. They got a little bit more going on to it. So first up, we have Byredo's Bal d'Afrique. Now Byredo's Bal d'Afrique isn't an overly citrus scent. It is citrus in the opening, but it's very blended. Yeah, it does have lemon in the opening, and then there is bergamot in this fragrance as well. This one's blended, this one's woody, it's aromatic, it's clean. This to me is very contemporary. This is a very kind of casual, contemporary, but chic scent. So think of maybe a boss, but she is younger. She's more contemporary but put together. So maybe a button down with some jeans and some clean white sneakers. She's heading to her contemporary office, and then after work she heads to her contemporary home. This screams contemporary to me. This is a very luxury but contemporary hotel. Even the bottle, even though Byredo, this bottle isn't specific to Bal d'Afrique, this bottle is like perfect for the scent that's inside. So this one, the citrus in here again is very blended. There's no sharp edges to this one. It does get a little too dry in the deep dry down with the vetiver that's in here. This I would say is more of a woody citrus fragrance with that vetiver and cedar in the base, but you do get the citrus, and it is fresh and clean, so I did want to include it for those people who want something just a little bit more elevated. All right, then next we have Atelier Dessor's Nuda Veritas. Now this one I have described, well, the next three were in my perfumes that evoke the color white. I wore this one to my 10-year wedding anniversary, and I had on a white dress. This is citrus, but again blended, and this one is more of your white florals, but it's blended in a way that it's not too overly white floral and it's not too citrus heavy. This is a very beautiful combination of both. I find this one to be very expensive smelling, almost like an expensive like vacation to Italy, or that beautiful coastline in Greece with those white buildings and beautiful blue rooftops. That's what I envision. I've never been there, but it just evokes that. It smells a little bit more expensive. All right, then last we have Valaya. And this one, I don't think there's lemon in this one. I think this one has bergamot, but it's the orange blossom for me. The orange blossom in here makes this one very citrus heavy, in my opinion. And if you're not careful and you overspray this one can become a little sharp. But this is clean. This is more sophisticated chic, where this is casual chic. This one you can dress up or down. This one's almost like a white dress like Nuda Veritas, but more of a summer dress with some cute sandals. So it smells expensive, but you can dress this one up or down. I feel like the orange blossom in here is bitter, but it's got this touch of sweetness to this one. Sorry if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. It's getting loud. So those are my top citrus fragrances in my collection, with a couple of new ones. Let me know in the comments below, what are some of your favorite summer citrus freshies? But that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.